All right, today we are going to crack a code. Seriously, we're going to look at a piece of text that at first glance it looks like complete gibberish. But trust me, by the end of this, you'll see it's actually a masterclass in how to communicate.
Just take a look at this. Let that sink in for a second. It's a wall of text, right? Just a jumble of repeated words. Heat, get it, come on. It feels totally chaotic, almost frantic.
So what in the world is this? I mean, is it a corrupted computer file? Maybe some weird abstract poetry? Or, I don't know, the panicked notes of a programmer on a deadline? What could possibly be the source of something so bizarre?
Well, the truth is a lot stranger, and honestly, a lot more sweaty than any of those guesses. The origin of this text is probably the last thing you'd ever expect.
That's right. This isn't code, it's coaching. Every single one of those words was spoken or, probably shouted by a fitness instructor during a grueling 25-minute workout. And suddenly the context changes everything, doesn't it? This isn't about relaying information, it's about pure, raw motivation.
And that's what's so wild about this. It's not just random shouting. This is a highly specialized language designed for one single purpose, to push the human body past what it thinks it can do. It's literally the language of effort.
Look at the difference here. On the left, you've got your typical instructions. They're analytical, they're technical, they talk to your thinking brain. But the language on the right, from our source, it's primal. Heat, heat, heat isn't an instruction, it's more like an incantation. Get it isn't a command, it's a gut-level call to action.
You can actually break this down into 3 distinct types of cues. First, you've got your intensity cues, like heat, which are all about creating that feeling of energy and burn. Then there are action cues, like get it, which are designed to make you move right now. And finally, you have pure encouragement cues, the come on and find a way, that are just there to keep you going when you feel like you've got nothing left.
So the big question is, why does this work so well? It's not just about yelling positive stuff. There's a really cool psychological trick going on here, and it's surprisingly simple.
It all comes down to a concept called associative cueing. Basically, the instructor is using a super simple, repetitive word, heat. And by saying it over and over again while you're working hard, they're training your brain. They're making you associate that word with the actual physical feeling of intense effort. So heat literally becomes the on switch for effort.
And here's how it really works its magic. First, that chanting creates a rhythm that your body can just lock into. Second, and this is so important, it completely bypasses your overthinking brain. You can't sit there analyzing how tired your legs are if your mind is just full of heat, heat, heat. This helps you get into a flow state where you just lose yourself in the movement. And finally, it creates a feedback loop. The more you hear heat, the more you feel that burn, which just makes the cue even more powerful. And get this. This is the mind-blowing part. Over 90% of the entire transcript from that 25-minute workout is made up of these simple, repetitive motivational cues. Less than 10% is actual technical instruction like keep your back straight. That's not a mistake. That's the whole strategy.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? I mean, this goes way beyond a fitness class. What we've just seen is a kind of high-level motivation hacking, and it reveals something fundamental about the way we communicate.
The core lesson here is actually pretty profound. We tend to think of good communication as, transferring complex information clearly. But this shows that sometimes the most effective communication has nothing to do with data. It's all about creating an emotional or a psychological state. It's about changing how someone feels, not just what they know.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. We've just seen how this kind of language can unlock our physical potential. So what other limits, maybe creative or mental or emotional, could we push past if only we could find the right words to repeat? What's your heat?